Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for night number 2 at Canamble. Challenging camp draft for the second round of the Colt starting. Right on 7 o'clock, we'll just, what we might do, we might just let the Colt starters get straight into the pen. We can do some introductions and do all the other stuff, get to work, but it's a nice time of the afternoon to go. Let's not hold them up any longer. Leah's got all her 98 horses put away for the night, and we'll get into it. So we'll start the timer and let the Colt starters get into it, and then we'll catch up with you in 5 minutes' time. So we've had a little change tonight. We've changed the round yards. No main reason for that, just to give them something different to look at. So we've got Elvis down in round yard number 1 here tonight with Tamara. Elton's in round yard 2, and we've got Eagle up in round yard 3 with Nathan. So we should be live on Stock Live, so thank you to Stock Live. Cody's here on ground, been busy all day setting cameras up and sorting everything out, so thank you to the team at Stock Live and Cody. I hope you enjoy the live stream of watching these colts getting started here with these 3 trainers over the next couple of nights. And please don't forget that at the commencement of the colt starting tomorrow evening, we will be auctioning these horses off. You can register on Stock Live, follow the link. It'll teach you how to register so that you can bid on these horses. If you are on ground and you want to purchase these horses, please come and see us tomorrow at some time in the secretary's box so we can get your name and details and a bid card sorted for you so that you can buy it on ground. So the auction will be live streamed with Stock Live, but also a physical auction here on the ground where you can purchase these horses. So what we'll do, I'll just get a little word from the judges on how we finished up last night, what they're expecting to see tonight, what they're excited about. Scotty Keogh, you don't want to say anything, do you?
Man, a few words. Man, a few words, mate. Man, a few words. No, look, I love it. Everyone can tell this is what I'm passionate about. I'm not passionate about cars. I don't want to go to the beach on a holiday. This is what me and Leah love. So we talked about it today. We go, hey, did you have a winner yesterday? We're like, no, we really didn't have a set on anyone, a favourite. This is a journey. This isn't a race. We've changed round yards here tonight. So and I've judged enough of these comps, Ricky, to know that the guy riding him down the road is not necessarily in front. That's for sure. I mean, we're just going to sit back. I know lady down to our left here spent a lot of time up over that horse's eye. Okay, more than anyone else. So that may or may not pay dividends. The man in our middle took the long rides. The man to our right separated either end. It was moving the front end from the back end. So everyone had a different approach. I don't know if you picked up on it, but this is the stuff, me and Leah, this is we're kind of nerds. This is the stuff we like. So, mate, we're here learning and chilling.
What we'll do, we'll catch up with each of these trainers and see where they left off last night, what they're going to start with tonight, and why, and how they feel they're sitting with their little horse. So I'll start with Tamara here with Elvis tomorrow. What's your thoughts and how you're going to approach the second round tonight?
Yeah, I've just kind of gone over a couple of things that we finished off on with him yesterday, which was getting his hind feet moving around a little better, put a little girth pressure on him using the rope first, then we've gone to this lunge roller. See, when I put it on, I'm moving it around. I don't want to sneak it on him. Most horse people tell you, treat your young ones like they're your old ones, treat your old ones like they're your young ones. Hopefully I left him at an okay spot yesterday. Every training session, you only know how good it went when you pull up into the round pen the next day. Yesterday it was just really about getting to know him. He can be a little pushy, but later on in life that's going to do you good as a camp horse. He's going to push up on those cows. He's not going to be scared of it. So I don't want to take that out of him. But at the same token, I do want him to be respectful of me. So walking that fine line that we do as trainers, and just setting him up. Hopefully tonight we'll get a little bit more on him. I want to do a little bit of long reining with him, so that's why I've got lunge roller on first up, and that's kind of my plan starting off.
Very, very cool. Thank you very much, Tamara. We go into the second round yard with Elton and Sam, and Sam, you want to touch on your approach tonight, mate, and where you think you need to be or want to be with this horse?
Yeah, g'day Ricky. I'm just trying to sort of revise a little bit of stuff, but keep moving on this horse too. He's at the stage like I was on him bareback. I had him, I was catching him, having him sort of facing me. Then I got behind him, long reins, drove him, getting used to me being behind him. So I've been on top of him, behind him, because that's where I'm going to be when I'm riding him. So I'm going to continue with that. I'm going to saddle him and hopefully start riding him.
Sorry, and you're happy with like how he's come back in tonight? Happy where you left off there yesterday?
Yeah, I'm happy where I've left off, and I'm not going to sort of keep tormenting him too much in something that he's been through, because I was happy last night with him, so I'm going to keep trying to continue on with him. And if there's something that I'm not happy with, then I'll have to sort of go back to fixing what I missed out earlier, I guess, I'll just sort of keep working on him.
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much. And we'll move down to Nathan in the third. Colt starting arena with Ego. How's Ego feeling after his rest today, Nathan?
I was pretty happy with him. He started out with a little bit of a attitude, but just I don't mind that, because they normally, horses when going gets tough, they're normally there for you, so I don't mind it. But within the session, he come around pretty good. I suppose I'm trying to break up his hind feet to his front feet. I got on him, bareback, only briefly, but he took that really well and took the saddle pretty good. So I'm picking up feet and that, and basically just going to rerun over all that again pretty quick here, sort of just to refresh him and just see where he's at and how he responds, which at the moment he's pretty good.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Nathan. All right. We're going to go back down to Tamara. You might have noticed in the live stream that Tamara's got a helper with her this week, and also Sam does as well. So I'll just start with Tamara and ask when, how, why you use a helper, and yeah, just explain it to us, I guess, please. That'd be great.
Yeah, my helper that I've got here is the lovely Sammy from Wild at Heart Horses. She is a psychologist by trade, so she helps keep my nerves down. As far as what do I use a helper for, when putting a first ride on, I like to have someone on the ground. If I have a horse that gets a little sticky moving forward, everything I've taught him, just sending him through his paces, just then walk, trot, canter, using that flag. If we get to a first ride, hopefully Sammy can help me with that there. Having someone that you know and work with on a regular basis is really important. There's a certain level of trust there, and knowing, you know, when to put that pressure on, how much pressure to put on, and when to take that off. Yeah, definitely. So that's why we use it, and it's just basically connecting that language from being on the ground to them being on their back. So I can apply, whether it's a leg aid, a tap on his bum, that sort of stuff. If he's not figuring that out to get moving forward, then we use that person on the ground.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So while we let these trainers just get through a bit of work, so I'm not interrupting them every 5 minutes. So we did have the challenge and the camp draft kick into gear today. We've had the Classic Open and Derby run today. Got right through to the first round. So what we're going to do tonight, the Classic finalists, so everybody that made the Classic final will come out tonight after we finish the Colt starting, and we'll present them with their ribbons and their shirts for the Classic final. It was a very, very tough competition from what I hear. There was a lot of good horses out there today. It was a beautiful day for challenging. So if we can get the Classic finalists to come to the radio arena at the commencement of this Colt starting, and we'll present you with your finalist shirts and your ribbons. Yeah, well, Leah's been nice and quiet. We got some action happening in the pens. We got Cowboys mounting horses everywhere. What's your thoughts, Leah? You've got something. Tell me.
It's all on.
No, I'm just sitting here being a student of all these Colt starters.
Girth and a set of knee hobbles here.
Yeah, we've got Girth and a set of knee hobbles here in the front pen. He's on his back. He looks pretty comfortable. A saddle and the first pen down there's going on. We've got some really nice. Oh, Scotty, you should tell this one. What's going on down in ring number 3, because you were just explaining it to me and it was very interesting.
So as you imagine, Leah and I probably weren't the most popular kids in high school. We're probably horse nerds. And Tamara has changed. But if you can picture what she was doing, that she had a little one-rein pulley system going there. And there'll be a lot of Australians say that J.D. Wilton was the first to do that one-rein deal. It was actually the Duke of Newcastle in 1600 did that. So I really like the one-rein deal. I do it a lot. Tamara's changed now, and I wish we could have caught her at the time. Let's go back, Tamara. Let's go back. Okay, let's take this back. But we got stuff going on everywhere here. Game on. Canamble. Let's do it.
It's exciting.
Fire up. Come on. Leah Reed's at 20 runs a day. She's ready. She's pumped. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, if they're all lollipops, there'll be a round rate at the Girl Guides Club. Come on, let's go. Okay, Tamara down here. Love the one-rein deal. Okay, so through my reading, first guy I ever heard of doing the whole one-rein suck him down deal was J.D. Wilton. Okay, that's what I first heard. The more I seek, the Duke of Newcastle did it in the 1600s. So I was telling Leah, let's imagine that clip on the left does not start on the left. What if it was through the centre of his girth? Then up through the chin strap of his bridle. So now you can go left or right and keep that horse in shape and rib, cage, band, hip, the whole lot each side. So I do that a lot, Leah. So obviously I can't make a living from the hospital bed, and there's going to be people on not believe this, but I'm not a kamikaze. And I can't make a living getting on the horse you can't ride. I have to suss him out, feel him out, see what's going on, and make an educated decision whether he needs a ride in a minute or a week. So that Newcastle rein is one of my main deals.
Do you want to ask Tamara what she's thinking of it?
All right, Tamara, so tell me, so see that there, I mean, you're basically up on his back now, and if things go to pot, because that's the deal, and Leah's the best at it. She's the most accomplished horse lady on this ground. You might have 100 methods, but does it work under pressure? Okay, that's kosher that you got this deal, but when you're sitting around the second peg or to that third stop, does it work under pressure? Now, when these people get up on their back and you go, oh, he's about to hump. If it don't work under pressure, it doesn't work. The horse, the judge. So, Tamara, tell us what you got down there.
Ooh, yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head there. It's about getting your horse moving up to a certain speed and then, shutting them down when there is a little bit of pressure, because I could probably just look at this horse's hip and he'd turn and stop and face up to me, but that's not a real life scenario. Like you said, real life, you're going around the second peg, cow's gone the wrong way, you shoot yourself and you try and pull them up. So I want to set them up for real life. You notice after I do shut them down, I come in and I finish that bend, because that's where I want them bent up to stop. It's also working out any kinks either side. He's always been a bit better on his near side than his offside, so making sure that he does allow me to bend him to that offside, because when stuff does go south, you're not going to be thinking, oh, he's better on his near side than his offside. You're probably just going to pull the rein and hope that it sticks. So, that's why I do it both sides. Make sure that they're good out of both eyes. They're soft out of both sides of their neck. If they're out on one side, a pole, neck, anything like that. I'm doing it all in the halter first, only because he has been a little pushy in the halter and he's hit pressure sometimes in the halter and he's, jumped around a bit. So I want to make sure that he's got this deal really settled before I start in his mouth. Yeah, pretty much it.
So we'll go down to Nathan. We've left him alone for a little while. He's got feed bags tied to the side of his horse. Want to give us a bit of a recap on where you got to there, Nathan, and how your little pony's travelling?
Went over the stuff sort of learnt last night, and he went pretty well with it all. Responded real well, actually. I just wanted to get the saddle on him, get him used to that again. And I like to use just feed bags. I just got some rocks in the bottom just to make it a bit of noise, just back behind where they can get worried about. But then there's also bumping on their ribs and everything to so it's not such a big shock. So if I put my leg back there to bump them along or anything, I just find it helps. Some horses absolutely don't like it. They get used to it because I like to just keep them going until they will trot and canter around with it.
So, just my observation, I know this horse can just be a little sticky on the movement. You don't have your, like you said, you usually would use a dolly horse, etc., to help out with that. What's the plan tonight? Just to have what's your replacement basically?
Bit sticky. I think it's just sort of him wanting me to move, and he doesn't want to do the work, so he's sort of that little bit lazy, which I just give him the option like there, and if he doesn't go, then I just encourage him. And it's sort of the same I'll do on his back. Like if I can get his feet moving, I'll try and get movement and get through it without having to get too much on him or sort of harass him too much, because I kind of like him to try and be free moving, because if you get on them and bump them around and they get sour on it and get over it pretty quick, and it's not fun for them or me. So, yeah.
Yeah, while I got you, Nathan, like the other two Colt starters here, we've got some long reins on. We've had long reins and side rollers and all the rest of it. Now, if anybody knows Ronnie Wall, Ronnie doesn't sort of use that stuff anymore. You're probably, I guess, probably sticking to the Ronnie Wall method a little bit. What have you found in that? This almost change where you're doing a lot of stuff in a halter, you're not driving them as much. You're going everywhere from the legs up, rather than the other way. What have you found that method brings, that the old school method, I guess, doesn't suit your style? Or
No, I have. Probably just in the last few months started doing a little driving with reins. I've got some here. I might do it with this fella, but I'm not real good at trying to work long leads and stuff. But I just think like if I can work him and control him with basically halter lead and that, it's good. Like I'll do it a bit with just getting him a bit supple and that, but it's not something I'm real familiar with. Like you said, I learned a lot off Ronnie, and even manager from up north, Fred Shepherd, and that it wasn't their thing, because sort of where I learned everything, it's trying to get on and do a job, and it's sort of if you got the time to do it and that's fine. It's another trick and arsenal if you've got it. I'm just not accustomed to it as much. I don't mind it, because I don't mind the idea of the rope around their butt, because they can get fright to that too. So it is something have started to do, but I'm not, real, I suppose, committed to it at the moment, but I sort of just see how they are really and make a judgment whether I do it or not. So, yeah.
Cool. Thanks, mate. I'll leave you get to work. Sam, you look like you're starting to make some moves here on Elton. Like he looks like he's ready to get loaded on the truck and go camp after, mate. What are you up to here?
Yeah, he was just a bit funnier this evening, putting the saddle on, and I just didn't want him. I sort of went back a few steps, and I didn't want to, give him a fight there and that. But now he's got the saddle on. As you can probably remember, when he first got in a trot last night, he was a bit jumpy, but he's quite a lot more acceptable of the saddle tonight. I changed my rigging a little bit too, because I was pulling my girth a bit, it's sort of adjustable girth point, and it was a bit forward, and when he was trotting last night, the back was slapping a bit, so I wanted to fix that up tonight, because obviously when that sort of makes them a bit funny and then they jump a little bit more, it all sort of compounds a bit, and so I think that saddle's sitting a bit better on him tonight. So he's starting to settle in a bit now, so I'm a bit more confident now. Yeah,
cool. So, and you've got your wife here with you tonight. You're going to use her for a bit of a hand here later. Do you want to explain that?
I did hear the baby crying there before, so I hope she doesn't do the runner on me, because I'll use her on my first ride. So all this groundwork, lunging and all that sort of stuff. When I get on, I like the horse to have another person. So the horse, I'd sort of just become a bit of equipment on that horse, and it's not so much sinking in me. I like to have another person to lunge it, push around, make the moves. So it's not too confused about me, and then I transfer the message. I start doing the pushing, the clicking, and then I usually replace the person in the middle with the barrel, because Matilda can't always be with me. She's got a job and has to work, and then I start working around the barrel, and so that's how we do it. Matilda doesn't like to be compared to as a barrel.
I'll leave that conversation for you to have. Thank you very much. Just take note too, guys, how good that horse looks under saddle. That horse looks extremely well bred and extremely well put together. So, looks like Tamara's stepped out. She's going to have a break for a little while. Right, she's going to take her 7.5 minutes, so she's going to take half her allotted time. So we're just on the hour mark to go, so we've knocked over the first third of the night. We've obviously come a fair way from where we left these colts last night, like two are saddled and ready to be got on by the look of it. So productive first half an hour. All the action's about to start. Just another big thank you to Ben and Jay for donating these horses to this cup starting. Leah just made a comment there before. She didn't really have a lot to say on the microphone, but damn, these horses are well bred and well handled, and it's a credit to Ben and Jay on the job that they've done with these horses. They don't forget the Elder Rio service fee is kindly donated by Ben and Jay as well. That'll be for the open camp draft on Sunday. So there's more than one way to get into an Elder Rio this weekend, and we kindly thank Ben and Jay for offering their services. If you get a second there, Nathan, and you can turn your mic on, it'd be really nice if you could talk us through what you're going to do here first ride.
Yeah, I just get on him and just sort of try and move his feet here, or I'll change sides here in a second with the lead, but I just like to just see if I can just bump his hip just to get a bit of movement. And when he goes, I'll let him go, and I suppose like Ronnie would say, rubbing him, love him. Pretty staple word he used to say with me and a lot of other people. But when he's going like this, I don't mind it. But he's free. I'm not really asking. I'm just going along with it. I do like to sort of, when I go to stop, I do like to just pick up on that lead and move that hip out, which he's doing pretty good there. And then basically I do the same on this side. I just get his eye here in a second. Yeah. I do like to pick up their eye and just sort of keep it on a bit of a shorter lead, just on that first sort of, maybe when they see me, just so it's not a big fright for them. And if I've got their nose or I've got it a bit shorter, I can pick up on their nose quick and I can just put my foot back and hopefully knock him out of gear. But yeah, I don't mind if it's just a walk or a trot. Like if he wants to give more, I'll encourage him a little bit, but just walking's good for me now. He seems pretty relaxed at the minute.
And why not the two reins deal, Nate? Like why just the one rein? 'Cause I don't know if anybody noticed how he just loops it over the nose like that. That's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
It's scary. It's very vulnerable, but over the I suppose I've done it a few times now. It sort of becomes a little bit easier. Sit until you hit them in the head, but yeah, I just like the one rein because it's sort of, they don't get confused with, say if you got the two reins, you're pulling on both sides of the head. And it just sort of, if you do go into a wreck, hopefully, or if they go to bucking or anything, you can just pick up on that lead and hopefully bump that hip out, like so. Well, that's pretty nice. Like he's fairly supple and light on his face and that, so hopefully he can keep that. But yeah, I just like it. Probably the second ride, I'll split reins on a halter. For this first and second ride, yeah, I sort of don't mind it. Just less to get confused about, I suppose.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Maybe just a quiet little round of applause for Nathan so you don't scare his horse and send him to the rail. But there's the first ride on one.
Right, mate. So kudos to the Nathan down the end here, Leah. So here's a fact, okay? Like, I think that if me and you had a bar fight now, that you would win. I think you're bigger than me, stronger than me, tougher than me. But I want you to stand up. I want you to stand up. Okay, everyone, game on. Wake up. Right, I do think she could beat me. Right? I want you to stand there. Stand, face me. Face me. But now cross your legs. With the legs crossed, I could blow her over the feather. Okay, that's nature. Okay, you'd never see a good boxer have his footwork work so bad. So what Nathan did in the end there is a horse cannot buck, rear, nor bolt while his hind feet are crossed. Okay, so you picture a young ringer, he's out in the paddock, Leah, mustering. Here comes a helicopter. He knows his horse is worried. First thing he's doing is soothing his horse, going woo boy, woo boy. He's holding him together. That horse is now as coiled and as collected as Costa Zoo. I wouldn't be doing that. I would be disengaging my hip, getting my horse attention off the motorbike, the Harley, the tractor, the cow, the whatever, but his hind feet would be crossing. Because I know how powerless I could make him if I made his hind feet cross. You like that? Yeah. You thought about that?
Yeah, good.
Is that something you do?
Yeah.
Yes. So where the hind feet are crossing, guys, if I hit a panic button now, so I made my living, my family have made all their living breaking in horses down the highway. First right outside is down the highway. And when you're in a panic situation, pull him round and get them hind feet to cross. And we see Nathan down here is just going from strength to strength. He started the seed on the ground and it looks like happy days.
Righto guys, while we let these guys do a bit of work, I'm just going to read out the top 10 finalists for the Classic Challenge. So I'll read them out just so that these guys are aware and they can come up after the finish of the Colt starting to collect the ribbons and their shirts for tomorrow. So in no particular order, we'll have Morgan Webb with Cantor Park Hostess. We have Katie Palmer on Bet She's Cool. We got Leah Reid on Benelong Oak Star Duck. We have Leah Reid again on Gone Done Me a Favour. Ashley Fairbrother on Marblewood Von. Ashley Fairbrother again on Ideal Player. Morgan Webb on Berrigun Heartbreaker. Brooke Hazlitt on Talara Hell on Wheels. Kate O'Brien on Who's a Sniper. And Robin Drake on Jalen Downs McCall. So a round of applause for them challenge for the Classic finalists, guys. They'll be uploaded to get their shirts ready to go for tomorrow's finals. How much you want, mate? Half. Right up. So Nathan's unsaddled and going to take half of his break. Tomorrow's back to work. We might just catch up with Tamara and see why she took a break and what she's planning on moving on with.
Yeah, so I got to long reining him in 2 reins. You can see, he was a little bit bothered about that second rein going around behind his hind end. Just waited on him. Sometimes things require a bit more pressure. Sometimes just a bit of gentle patience. With him, he's pretty smart. So if you just give him a bit of time, he'll figure it out. I quit on him because I got some really nice stuff. I got him stopping in 2 reins with that rope behind him. And I decided to bridle him up and let him just have a bit of play with that bridle before I actually put any pressure on it. It's a good time to let them just soak and play with it before I go, okay, now I'm going to get to work with that thing that's in your mouth. That deal with having the rope around their bum, like was mentioned before, things can get wrapped around their hind end and give them a bit of a fright. So it's important that they listen to the cue that's happening on that halter or on that bridle when that's happening. The other thing it does is, for everyone who likes their nice stops where those horses get real underneath themselves and start stopping on their hind end, it's just teaching them to engage that hind end in the stop rather than just pushing down in the front end. So it's really handy.
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much. what I'll do, Matilda, the lovely Matilda, Sam's wife, has just stepped into the round yard. What I'm going to do, get Sam to turn his mic on, and we're just going to sit back and listen for a little bit and just learn how Sam and Matilda go about their business at home.
Pretend that's that cat. Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're about to listen to me, Matilda. Sometimes we can end up in disputes in this situation. I can be left in the middle of a round yard on a horse or the first ride, and she can be on the way back home. But no, we've worked it out a bit now. And Matilda's very good. Yeah, sort of move. Well, understands where I want her and that now too, because I'm probably not the best communicator. Sometimes I know where I want her, but I might make it very clear. So at the moment, that horse is standing pretty straight, and she's slightly there in front of it to the near side, because that's sort of, if it goes forward at all, it's sort of where I want it to face. So I've got the horse facing towards her. So, rightio. So all the work I'd done before was moving each end of the body. I just want that horse to be comfortable, and if it moves off, well then I just got to go with it. And so, like a lot of these people, the first part I move of the horse is the hip. So, and I don't like big sudden movements, and I'll just ask Matilda to arc around. She'll work around the perimeter. We'll work our space in our yard. I'll put very little command on this horse. She'll walk around, I'll tilt his head, and she'll just click a bit. Use your whip on the ground. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep behind him more, behind. Keep going around the arena too. Rightio, stop. Rightio, the horse hasn't moved, so I'll take a step. Free him up a bit. Now we've got him in a different position. I'll try the other eye. Matilda will stay where she is there. Now she'll arc back around the other side. Just going a bit closer. Come to the hip. Stop. Right, that's a movement. So, like, small movements are good at the start because they can freeze up a bit, be a bit nervous. So, I want to reward any movement. Now she'll go again. Just keep walking. Stop. Stop, Jim. Into the middle. Now we just got to ride them. So we don't make a big deal out of it, despite the crowd. So we'll pace him back around. Come towards his head first, and now walk into his hip there. Quick, quick, quick. Just stop, Tip. He's not in a good position, so I'll try and set him up to where I want him. Oh yeah, okay. Quick, quick. Keep going, keep going. No. come back around this. Back around, keep going, keep walking, round to his tail. Stop. There we go. I'm happy with that. Bit of movement. He's just not in a good position there that I want to move him off. So I'm just going to set him up a bit.
Alright guys, we'll just let Sam and Matilda work through what they got to work through there. Nathan's back in after having his half break. We've got about 40 minutes left to go. They're just over the halfway mark.
Keep behind him, yep. Keep going. Keep going. You gotta just keep pushing him. That's it, slow down. No, just let him walk. As long as he's moving forward.
So Scotty, I'm going to throw it over to you. Like, there's a lot of good stuff there, what we were just watching in that middle round yard. I know I was out over the rail and falling off left, right and centre there.
That's it.
Sam doesn't panic. He's just poking away, doing what he's got to do. He never made a big deal of that horse bucking or, you know, he never let that horse. Even when he got into trouble or he got a position where he didn't like that horse, he just stepped off, got him sorted out, got back on him. Like everything's just flowing through the motion, even though that horse, you know, went to bucking. What's your thoughts on what he just went through there?
Yeah, mate, the fact that the horse barked is not a reflect on Sam nor the horse. Horses bark. That's, you know, you've got a dead animal hide strapped to their belly. There's a reason why there's no 80-year-old horse breakers. I'm 43 and I'm trying to give it away. Okay, that's the difference, you know, and this is a young man's game. Yeah, the horse barked, but has he come out the other side better? Well, I'd say 110% better. So I think that's a reflection of what we got going on here. They're doing a really good job. So, yeah, they bark and the crowd lights up and that's a bit of fun and all, but what happened after it, you know? So I think we've got plenty of good things going on here. So here down the end in pen 3, look at Nathan there. He's moving that horse out. That's a Ricky, to me, horse that move forward don't go up and down. Okay, so I believe I can only get him to go as forward on his back as I can on the ground. Now, Leah will tell you this 100 times over. Every man and his brother wants to tell you about the quiet horse they've got. He's quiet. He won't buck, mate. He's quiet. Rub him, pat him, love him till he's back. That means nada to Leah Reid. Okay, can you move his feet? Do you have control of his feet? And I was watching a podcast the other day on Andrea Fapani. So we're talking about the world's best reiner, like won over 5 million. Like we're talking high-end horsemanship there. He said nothing reflects a person's skills or lack of skills than float loading. He toned it back to something so simple. So if you can't back yourself to load any horse on this showgrounds, you know, do you know the difference between an effort? Do you know when to reward or punish good versus bad? Do you know how to make the right thing easy? You know how to make the hard thing really hard? Okay, so float loading to me separates from the men from the boys right there. And I'm not saying if you're a 65-year-old lady, you should be able to load up big, strong yearling that's pulling across the flat. Okay, but if you're an able-bodied person, loading a horse on a float, especially if you bred it, should be nothing but a game. Because if you can't dissect effort, lack of effort, forward efforts, rudeness, it only gets harder from there, mate. I'm out here trying to do what you do, Lee. I'm trying to get horses around the dry work pen and the camp draft arena. Float loading I can do with a blindfold. It only gets harder from there. So Leah won't tell. She just told me that float loading is her favourite thing. There's nothing more black and white, is there? It is so black and white. And, you know, the average owner, let's not be derogatory here, if they're all world champion horse people, we wouldn't have a job. Most people have a horse that barely leads and they try and lead him into an uncomfortable situation. So that's their first problem. Lay a tarp, lay a log down, try and lead him over that. There are stepping stones before a steel cave. But float loading is something that, like you and I love it. If I could get a job float loading, happy days.
Alright guys, so we got 36 minutes to go. Both Nathan and Tamara have taken half their allotted breaks. As to yet, Sam hasn't taken a break, so Sam's got about 15 minutes or so and he's going to need to take a break, but Sam's just working through with where he's got to get to. We might move down to Tamara when she gets her hands free and no rush. Tamara's got her horse saddled now, so we'll just go through the next stage with Tamara and where she's up to.
Yeah, it's a pretty important moment, first saddling, first girthing. You want to make sure, you know, it's snug enough that they're not going to get in a wreck, but you don't want to cut them in half so that they get a fright by it either. I broke it down, saddle pad, can you step around with the saddle pad on you? Good. Then I pop the saddle up, can you step around with that saddle there because it's a bit bigger than the lunge roller we've been working with? Good. Then I brought the girth in, which you should be good with because we had the girth on just before, but you know, it's all a bit different. So just trying to really break it down for him because like I said, he's smart, but I don't want to flood him. I don't want to overwhelm him because he's the kind of horse that if you overwhelm him, he kind of goes to jumping around, and I'm hoping he's not going to do that tonight, but that's what I'm planning for, by breaking everything down and making it so he feels like he's winning each step of it rather than me just pushing through and going, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. I want him to kind of hopefully accept each individual part. Tonight he's been a little better about licking and chewing, which is interesting because in the yards he was a little more strong-willed. So I'm really pleased with him. Like, I couldn't be happier tonight. I didn't know where we'd get to, and I thought, you know, if we could get some long reining deal done today, then I'd be happy. So to get to here, I'm stoked with him, and you know, maybe it goes towards the breeding of these horses, how well they can go, you know, on that second night, coming back a second time. And anyone who takes Elvis home is going to be real happy. I know that.
Perfect, thank you. So, Nath, we might, when you catch your stop there and you get a hand free, we might get your mic on, mate, and we might just listen in if that's all right on where you're up to.
Yeah. Yeah, I just gave him a short break there because he went real well. And I thought I'd call in a sub from the crowd. Just to, he's about 80. His knees are anyway. Just to try and, I didn't want to get to really humbugging him because I think he'd get pretty sour on it. So I'm just sort of trying to be pretty free and loose here so he'll keep moving out for me. And if Chris, please. And I'll just try and getting good trot here. We might just push him to try and get a little canter, but and like any little try, it was only probably maybe 2 steps, if anything, but it's still better than what he was doing. I do find it a bit tricky trying to get him to get that canter in here. I think he's just a bit more leggy a horse where he wants to get out and moving. There you go again. But yeah, if I can get him where I'm not bumping him too much. Yeah, keep going. Keep going, Chris. Cool. I'll just try and get, Good work. Like there, I just try and let him go. I don't mind if he scoots through, as long as we get them, a couple of strides of a canter. In all honesty, I'd be probably trying to show him more daylight going out. He's just a bit, don't want to get to hunting him and chasing him in here and making this a bad spot. But I think he's the sort that needs open spaces a bit more to get going, get free and travelling. But really liking the way he is at the moment though.
Yeah, good. Thank you very much.
All right.
So Sam's going to take his 15 minutes. He's just finished getting on his horse and sorting through all of that. And the crowd had a bit of fun. So how about a round of applause for Sam for the first ride?
Okay, so Ricky just had a question to me and Leah, are the round yards too small? So my answer was, I don't know, I don't think so. But there was no such thing as a round yard back in the day. That was an American thing, the round yard. Now, I hate round yards because I know that in a square yard, at any given point, I could pull him into a corner. Even if I'm canting around, he has to pick up his shoulders and go straight. Lee, have you ever had a horse bolt with you in a round yard? I had a horse bolt with me in a round yard once. It was probably 2 times the size of that, 3 times the size of that. There was not one thing I could do. Any time I picked up the rein on this hackamore, well, it only pulled him in the fence that was already there. There was not one corner to pull him into. So a round yard is a very American thing, and I mean, probably back in the day there was no such thing as a break-in yard. It was whatever cattle yards the mobile break had to use. But yeah, that's my answer. It's only a start. There's a long journey from here. So you can have a lot of good things going, but when you kick that gate, if you come back with no dust on you, your mouthing program worked. The ambulance has got to come, or something else. Well, there's your answer, isn't it? Right, so Leah Reid loves handing me the microphone, saying I'm the motor mouth, but actually she comes up with so many intelligent things. Okay, so when you're with Kenny May doing the Colt Sutton clinics, tell them about the electric tape yard.
There's been, well, first off, there's been a lot of good things going on here tonight, with all these colts and that. But onto that story, we used to go around with Ken May to a heap of colt startings where, you know, maybe 5 or 10 people would come and over 4 days, and Ken would help them out, and I would always be there just as shit kicker or something, but he'd always get me a colt to start, and we'd always run out of a pan, and he'd just set up an electric tape for me to start these colts in. And I didn't realise it at the time. I kind of thought he was just mean. But what that taught me was how much pressure I could put on a horse in a situation, how much relief I needed to give a horse. As you talk about these round pans, that's what we did. We never ever had a Pacific breaking in yard, you know. We just got the job done with what we had and what we could afford. I think horses these days are turning into a very expensive hobby. But a good horseman can use a minimalist of equipment and still get the job done really, really well. So the fact that everyone's utilising what they've got here and that is really cool. I think we've seen 2 people so far use helm. Scotty, hey, how important is your ground helm?
Well, I've got none because there's not enough money in it for me, let alone paying someone else. So our whole system, as me growing up, was you had to be your own man. There was no help. That was the whole different system. So let's talk about lunging a horse around here, and let's talk about how much is he listening to the rope and how much is he listening to the outside panel. Okay, then talk about the long reins that some have done. How much did the outside panel turn him? So Gary McPhee's rule was you were never allowed to tie a horse up unless you could lunge him out in the open. Okay, so that was the whole deal. Like, now we never knew that, Leah. Like, we put a rope around their bum, we fudged across the yard, and when you got to the nearest pole, tied him up. Then when he pulled back, you blamed his breeding, his great-grandma, and the guy that owned him. Okay, except he didn't know anything about the halter. Okay, so my whole deal was, Gary said, do not tie one up or ride it till you can lunge it out there. I mean out there, nothing supporting him. So again, when I worked for my grandpa as a young bloke, we were mobile. So we went station to station, so you never had the perfect situation. So how important is the round yard? Great if you got it. And if you don't, start thinking, because you know what? You got to get the check. At the end of the month, you got to get the check. Okay, so and you can't get the check if that horse has run off, bucked you off, you've got him injured, and he now can't complete the process.
Righto, so all the guys are just having their allotted breaks. Tomorrow will be finished. She's taken a 7.5 minute break, so she'll be done with her breaks. Sam's taken 15 minutes in total. Nathan's taken his other 7.5. So when these guys step back in, they're all going to have roughly 15 minutes left to muck around with their ponies. So I see Sam's bought the barrel race and drums over, so he's ready to rock and roll. Tomorrow, where are you up to? You're happy? I see you lunging it around.
Yeah, look, from last night where he took a decent jump around with just a lunge roller on to tonight, accepting, saddle pad, saddle girth, those stirrups are on there bumping around, making a bit of noise, and walk, trot, canter. But both directions, one side, other direction, just trying to get into the canter. You know, we're talking about that round yard deal. I do have a round yard at home. It's a fair bit bigger than this because I start, you know, up to 18 hand percherons in it, and they can still loaf around. So they've still got plenty of room, but I do believe in, you know, you do need to be doing the turning. You can't just let panels pull you up. Even when I'm in the arena giving lessons to people and, you know, they get stuck doing circles and circles and circles, I'm like, turn your horse, because they're just leaning and you're just hitting the rail. And when you go out, you know, if you're warming up out in that big arena there and you've been in your little arena with rails and hitting those rails, you're going to go running along that paddock until you find a rail, hopefully, to pull you up. So, but overall, yeah, Elvis, I mean, I'm stoked with him. He's, I think he's turned a real corner tonight. Yeah, super happy with him. He's coming down a lot and hopefully enjoying the crowd tonight. I hope everyone in the crowd's enjoying him too.
Yeah, cool. So, just want to ask you, that saddle is very different to the other two saddles we can see. I'm not sure if you're aware, but they make them with more leather on them. You know?
Yeah, look, that one doesn't have any leather at all. That one's all synthetic. I do have fenders. I do have Western saddles I ride in. Of late, I've been going back to this little all-purpose deal. It gives me a lot better feel of the horse. It doesn't get in their way for their first few rides. Surprisingly, hopefully, I stick in it pretty good too. But yeah, it's a good deal for them. It's a good deal for me. It's pretty comfy. And yeah, it is different, but it's what I learned to break in. I didn't have expensive saddles. That was, you know, one of my first breaker saddles was $150 or $200. I have nice saddles now that I show in, but I still don't break in them. But it does show, you know, you don't need a lot to start your own horse. You don't need to go out and buy a $5,000, $8,000 lovely leather saddle to do it. It's not going to make you any better horse. You can start them in, you know, whatever you've got.
Very valuable lesson there, I'd say, folks. Righto, so we've got about 20 minutes left to go. Nathan, step back in. Tomorrow, step back in. Sam's got about another 4 minutes, and then he'll step back in. Is there any questions, confusions, queries in the crowd? Does anybody want to ask a question? There's no such thing as a stupid question. Anywhere, want to stick their hand up? Question, confusion, query? Nobody's game to grab the microphone, are they? Never. Does anybody know the score of the Broncos and the Dolphins? 0-0, perfect. There's one in every crowd. Might just pick Nathan's brain when he gets on this horse. I got a bit of a question for him. Learning the Ronnie Wall way, the Fred Shepherd way, the Donnie Turner way, laying down horses a lot. Lots of people lay horses down before they break them in. Do you do that? The Ron Wall style, would you do that to a certain horse anytime, or you sort of speed past that a bit? You're right. Take your time. Whenever you get a hand free.
I think, what was it? The laying
Just about
them down.
laying down, mate. Yeah, like Ron Wall method of laying them down. Do you do it still?
Yeah, I still do. I really like it. I suppose it's a very, very firm thing old Ronnie used to do. I don't think there's many horses that have come to me that I haven't. Some I just judge on. It helps a lot with attitude in a lot of them, especially older ones. I have had a few older ones come recently, and yeah, it just really helps change their mind. And I'll go back that way. Yeah, change their mind, and it just changes something in them. Like when I lay them down, I let them go down themselves. I'll help them to where they'll get on their knee, and then they got to go over themselves. I don't force it because they got to learn to do it, and then that's normally when I introduce tarps and whatnot. Like if I haven't done so already, and maybe even whips, clip their mane and stuff. And then when I sit them back up, I go through all that again, stand them up, go through it all again, and they seem to just gain a lot from it, and don't normally have a lot of trouble after that. So yeah, I still like it. I think also if they get into a bind, like get caught in a fence or something, it's not the first time that they've sort of gotten a fright or legs have got tangled up and stuff. So yeah, I still do it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. So Sam can step back in now. He's got 16 minutes left. And Nathan did ask me a question there before while he was having his break of whether he was allowed to go outside. That he hadn't made his mind up yet or whether he was going to do it tonight or not. But I can see he's still thinking about it, and I can see a panel getting cracked. So stay tuned. Scott Keogh reckons Australia's an island. You can't get off it.
Right, Leah. So what we're going to see here now, or not see, or maybe see, doesn't tell lies. This is as pure and as raw as you can get. Did your ground program work? Well, I'll tell you in 5 minutes if he comes back no dust on him. It's as simple as that. So you could say, I remember so many old timers in Australia going, they're not properly mouthed if they're not done in the long range. And then, look, you were very American with Kenny in halters and hackamores. I wasn't used to that, but I tell you what, if it works, it works. If you come back in there, no dust, and get on the next one, it worked. Well, I'll tell you what, Ricky, we've got a pretty tough audience because what are we, hour and a half in, horse walking out soft, flexing each way. This cowboy here is, he's doing a hell of a job right here, Leah. If you need a hand this week, does this bloke get a job?
Absolutely.
I'll tell you one thing that you could address, Leah, is Graham Amos may or may not be the best horseman Australia's ever seen. We're talking right up there. And he went to America and finally the cut and maturity over there as like a 50-year-old man. We're talking late in his career. Taught Johnny Mitchell, Roger Wagner, Spud Sheehan. He started at the start, and he told me that when he was breaking on them stations, there was two rides in the yard and one outside, but the manager had to see you ride it outside to get your check. So we come from a rushed nation. Everything about the whole deal we've ever seen. The first thing people ring me up to break in a horse, Scott, they don't go, Scott, I like what you do, break in a horse. They go, how much and how long? There is a time limit. Everyone has a budget. No one's made of money. Then they want to know how long you got him and how much. I'm not going to say it's a race anymore, but I can remember when I first told customers I won't take one for under 2 weeks. I thought I was going to go broke, and I thought the bulk of my customers would leave me. Because 2 weeks, holy hell. What do you do after 2 weeks? I thought they were broke.
Just, I'm not sure if the live stream's picking up where Nathan's gone out of his round yard, whether the camera's following him or not, but just for those people sitting at home, Nathan's decided to take his horse out for a ride around the arena. So far, all going very smoothly. We've got Sam back on for his second ride of the night. And if we pay attention to round yard number 1 down there tomorrow, is just doing a bit of groundwork there and about to slide on for her first ride. So we're right on the 10-minute mark to go, guys, by the way, just 10 minutes to go. Please don't forget, guys, at the end of this, we'll present the Classic Challenge finalists with their shirts and ribbons. And then we'll move the bar back down to the pavilion and better have a cold one. We got a fair bit happening here. Horses going everywhere. When you do get him moving, Nathan, get him free with the hand there, mate, you might just talk us through your process of why you got him outside and what you're working on while you're out here.
Just trying to get him a bit free. Just a bit bigger sort of fella, and then round yard a bit tight, and he's sort of not far off getting sour on it. I would love for him to take a bit of a canter here, and I just want him to look at stuff and not get worried about it. But yeah, it's very similar to at home. I get out as soon as I can, get amongst the trees and whatnot, and sort of, yeah, as long as I've got a stop on them and, yeah, like a bit of control on that, and it's good. Like, I feel comfortable on him, like he, yeah, shined at a few things, but with what, yeah, first time being on him and that outside, he's going very nice. Yeah, I just like it, just gets them free and moving and travelling out, and I think they like it a lot more. So, 'cause I think when you're working with horses, they do tend to hook onto the trainer or whoever's breaking them in and whatnot, and they kind of get, I suppose, a little bit like them. And I don't like I was never one for much of schoolroom and stuff, and wanted to be outside and moving about. So I think they sort of catch on to that a fair bit too. So, but yeah, I just like it. Get out and get them moving.
So notice, true to form, you're sticking with the Ronnie method. You've got the bridle in, but I think you're still hooked to the halter there from what I can see. You just want to run us through when you will hook that up and how you'll mount that horse?
Yeah, Oh, hello, Sam. Watch out, Sam. That didn't go to plan. Sorry, Sam. Yeah, I'd like to do it. No, yeah, I mightn't do it tonight, but I will. But I just, same as the bridle, I just like to pick it up. They will just, I don't do, back when I first started, I suppose, tied it back to the cinch and stuff, and I have done that, but I just sort of run a rein, say, through where the cinch would be and just do the one rein stop on them. But yeah, I just try to be as gentle as possible with them. But yeah, like now, like I probably wouldn't have any trouble doing it now on him. Pretty well, yeah. Like I normally have 4 weeks to get them going, and I try and get a bit in them because a lot of the ones I do go to work on stations and that, and they're not going to ride too much in a halter. So, but yeah, I like the halter because it's not putting the pressure on them. But like normally now, I'd probably step off and do a few right, like get back on, like put the reins on the bit and just walk around and pick him up, and just, I don't want it to be any rude or anything like that. So, but yeah, which I'll probably do that now for the time.
Yeah, you got about 6 minutes left, guys. About 6 minutes left.
That got a bit interesting. Oh.
About 4 minutes to go, guys. Seen a fair bit move forward tonight. We've got Sam, who's also out on his little breaker at the moment. On Elton, cruising about, having a look at the rodeo arena. And then we might just give a little round of applause for Tamara, because she just snuck in a little ride there. Working away. Right, about 2.5 minutes left, guys. So we might just, tomorrow sort of finished having their first ride there. So tomorrow said about half an hour ago that she'd be happy just to put some long runs on tonight, and here she is unsaddling after her first ride, but happy with all of that stuff tomorrow.
Oh, couldn't be happier. Nothing like the adrenaline rush of the first ride. Look, he just kept giving me green lights tonight, and like I keep saying, I always have low expectations when I'm working with young horses because that way you're never disappointed. Everything they give us is incredible, full stop, because of the size of them and the size of me. There's no reason he should do any of this stuff. So I'm forever grateful for them. I hope I've left him in a good mood tonight so that we can continue tomorrow night. I'm really, really happy, and he's shown, to back it up another night and go, yep, I'm willing to learn something new. I'm willing to keep going rather than going, no, this is crap. I'd rather be out in the paddock. Same thing goes to the trainability of him, and yeah, couldn't be happier.
Yeah, awesome. Right, guys, so we've got about 30 seconds left, so no, we don't. We've got about 5 seconds left, so time has just gone. It's 4-0 to the Broncos, just for anybody that wants to know as well. So how about a big round of applause for the Colt starters tonight, guys? That was pretty awesome. Shaping up to be a very exciting finish tomorrow night, and whilst it's not a race, like how good have these horses have been, like Tamara just touched on there, her Colt come back in and willing to learn on the second night, a whole new deal, could just want to be in the paddock. So the trainability of these three horses has been exceptional. So a big round of applause for Ben and Jay on the three horses too. Please come and see us tomorrow. If you are interested in purchasing any of these three geldings, please come and see us. We have all the info with us. We will be running the live auction tomorrow night. People will be registered on Stock Live. And then just before we go anywhere, we're just going to present these Classic Challenge finalists with their shirts and ribbons. And I believe we've got somebody from our major sponsor, Great Northern Tanks, here to present them tonight too. So big thank you to all the sponsors, Great Northern Tanks, Palm Edmund Pastoral Company, John Jackson and Co. For trucking all the cattle in, the clothing stands, the food stands, everybody that's made it happen this weekend. It's running pretty smoothly, touch wood. We missed out on a big storm last night, so hopefully we can keep the weather rolling and have some big finals tomorrow. And I'll hand it over to Will, and we will kick off, if we've got everybody here, with the challenge finalist shirt presentation. See, before I hand it over to Will, I've left out the judges on where we're up to tonight and what their thoughts were.
Okay, somehow Leah, who's like schooled everyone all day and made every final, has nothing to say, and me who didn't make a final is talking. I thought it was really good. I wanted to talk. I wanted to talk. Mate, I thought it was really good. I really do. It's not a race. It's not a second division bronc ride. All these contestants are in the race, and if I was Ben and Jay Hall at home now, I would be thinking, gong him, Red, get that guy off our horse. There's no one doing that. 150 people in the stands here tonight, guys, rather than sitting back in their trucks. So kudos to the Canamble Committee and the sponsors that have backed this. And I've said enough, and over to Leary.
Yeah, I agree, Scotty. Again, we've got three different approaches. I think everyone's getting, to be honest with you, everyone's getting a free Colt starting clinic. We're all students here to watch these guys, and they're all students of the horse. So Ben and Jay, I just keep saying to Scotty all night, like these are nice ponies, hey. They're not trying to kick anyone, bite anyone, strike anyone, they're just trying to learn. And I think it's, the three Colt starters are giving them the best opportunity to learn. But it's a real credit to Ben and Jay. And we see the success in the camp draft arena that they have on these horses. And you know what? It's actually, we can see why from here, from right at the start, can't we? So, again, everyone's doing so good. I just can't wait to watch it tomorrow and see which horse comes out and which jockey comes out and presents the best deals. So.
Yeah, cool. So, big thank you, guys, and a round of applause for our two judges. Leah's got about 170 horses here this weekend, and I haven't not seen her out of the saddle all day. Scotty Keogh's in the challenge, mucking around with horses here this weekend as well. For those who don't know, Scotty has a Facebook page, SK Horsemanship, I think it is. If you haven't had a look at it, jump over and check it out on all the social media stuff. It's worth watching. And I'll just hand over now to Will, and we'll do the presentation for the shirts, and we can go over here.
Thanks, Ricky. Just before we get started, I think a round of applause is due for our three Colt starters and the Colts as well. I think that was a really good night. And to Ricky as well for the commentary. Not sure what else he does, but at least he can swing off a microphone pretty good. Righto, we'll roll through this really quick. I know everyone wants to get back to the bar. So in no particular order, but could we please have, and these are the finalists for the Classic, which is our feature event. Morgan Webb, Cody Palmer, Leah Reid, Ashley Fairbrother, Brooke Hazlett, Kat O'Brien, and Robin Drake. They get a ribbon. Yep. While the finalists are just getting their shirts and ribbons, just to remind everybody that in the dry work arena, first up in the morning, 7 o'clock, we'll have the rookie final. The rookie dry work final will start at 7 o'clock with a judge's address. Over in the camp draft arena, we'll have the first round of the Derby wet work straight up at 7 o'clock. Once that's over, hopefully by no later than 8 o'clock, we'll be straight into the Parliament and Pastoral Novice camp draft. And the program stays the same from there on in. If there's any questions you have, please go to the Secretary's office and we'll be able to help you from there. Thank you. For all the rookie competitors, there has been a redraw. It's all the same competitors, but just from our end on the books, there has been a redraw, so please go to the Secretary's office first thing in the morning or tonight. It is there if you want to double check where you stand in that run if you have made the final. And can we please have a round of applause for our classic finalists?